What's up, guys, and welcome back to Adventures in Concrete right here on Deco-Crete TV. And so today we were in Cleveland, Ohio to visit Dorn Colors in this super cool building right behind me right here. And this is the place that makes all of these color cards for us, not just for Deco-Crete, but the entire concrete industry, as well as the entire paint industry, and pretty much anybody who needs glue-on color chips gets them from this company, Dorn Color. And we're about to go through and take a factory tour to see how this whole process works. So stay tuned and you're gonna learn all about it. Hi.
Welcome in.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Oh, we are great. Yeah, we'll start by just your full name and what you do here and how long you've been here. You've got such a cool story.
Oh, thank you. Well, my name is Tibi Mustada. I've been here for 20 years at Dorn. Actually, this year is 20 years. I came in and I was just like a production associate on the third floor.
Before we get started making the shapes, and right now I think this is like scrap that's inside there.
Okay, so this is like your test run, if you will. So,
one of the things that we did, even before we validate the die, so before we invest money and make it, what we actually did is we cut a bunch of paper from here and we used a laser cutter, and we just cut the shape out to validate it first. We wanted to see it, touch it,
Lay it down, see what kind of issues we might run into. And then once that's confirmed, that's when we go and we place the order, for the die.
actual one. So is this something that's kind of off the wall for you guys? Is this custom shaped? You guys can see that nice little Deco-Crete fan there. So is there other people that are doing this, or was this new?
There's other people that have other shapes, but never one that has something like this. This shape here was a little bit irregular for us with all the different angles on it. We went back and forth with the team and trying to figure out exactly like what's going on here. Is there something that we're missing? How are we gonna make it? We powwowed, but we eventually brought Ken over here.
Good, Jeff.
Jeff, Ken, how you doing?
Nice to meet you.
How you doing? I'll cut a piece.
Sure,
right now.
absolutely.
It's very satisfying seeing this.
And these are
That's your actual blank. We cut a little bit oversized to allow for trim for the die. So when that stroke goes to come through there, it's going to go through the scrap, it's going to go through the good product, and then it'll go back to the scrap. So everything that's in the middle is all your product. There's no scrap. So go right through here, and then you'll see it push through. And then when you take out, I have your last color in here, as a matter of fact. And you take it out, there's a scrap off the back, front, scrap off the back, and then there's your...
That is so cool.
Your card?
Absolutely, we would love a sneak peek. Oh, look at this. This is the first time that we're holding this. So there we go on the back. We have all the chip blends, all the quartz blends, and then what they just seen right there was the gunmetal color. So
it didn't take very long for people to realize that something's weird about Tibi. He seems to always be like tinkering and doing things. The plant engineer at the time took note of that, and he reached out and he was like, hey, would you be interested in actually, being full-time for maintenance? And eventually I was able to take over the maintenance manager position here at Dorn. And I have been the maintenance manager since 2011. But that's kind of like my role over here, is really being the support system for the maintenance department here at Dorn.
So this floor is a lot of cutting, the way that it seems.
Yeah, everything cutting related is here. Here at Dorn, it was really built from the ground up. We've put a lot of money in this building to restore it and bring it to its current shape and create this beautiful flow of material. Would we like it to be all on one floor? Absolutely. But it's still using the elevators and having this kind of a process, it's still something that's very easy for us to do. We just got to make sure we're staying on top of the elevator and it's functioning.
And so this is where the normal, like our square chips would just simply get cut just like doing right now.
And what we've done is we've actually modified, if you can see on that right side, the plates are a little bit thicker. So we've modified this cutter to be able to do small chips like that. Because if they were, imagine if they were like under an inch or something, they would just slide right through.
I got you.
So he's taking that big sheet, cutting it down, and right now, for example, he's stacking it on top, and he's gonna make really precise cuts to get actual chips that will go on cards directly. Because after we've cut everything, the only thing that's left is to get it to our mounting. Whether it's cutting them straight, whether it's cutting them with a die cutter, then the next thing is our old school jersey machines. We've developed this culture here where a lot of people take charge of their equipment, their departments, and I only a handful of times in a year maybe I get called on something. The rest is really like self-sufficient, which I really appreciate. This is the 100th year. So from my understanding is 1926 is when Dorn was formed. And we moved from downtown to the current location that we're at back in, the move kind of started like in 1998 to 1999. And we started to transition into this building, and we started to build basically the dream of how we imagined Dorn Color would operate and how it would be laid out, and all the different processes in place. Super heavy mechanical piece of equipment. This whole thing operates on a lot of cams, and it's definitely like one of my first piece of equipment that I worked on when I started here at Dorn.
How many cards can be done in an hour on this machine? Between 250 and 300 per hour.
A lot of this is all kind of happening just from one foot pedal right there. There's only a handful of companies in the world that really do what Dorn does. So there's not a really big industry that produces equipment for it. That's why we've created equipment, like we have customized equipment that we build from scratch, like everything,
Because
electrical, mechanical, because nobody makes them.
Is there some sort of like vacuum or suction that holds those things in place? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so it's a really easy process that's happening here. Basically, these two plates over here, only one of them has vacuum at any given time. So like right now, it's switched, and then they go over and switch again. But what's happening is this bottom plate over here goes under, pulls the chip, and then it meets with the other one to transfer it. So once it transfers it, then that underneath there we have these like pads under there, and these pads hold it nice and flat. So this way, when they pass over that roll, then they can do the application of glue over it.
And then is the adhesive, is it on the card? Is it on the chip? How does the adhesive work?
So the adhesive is on the chip in this process. We have another process that's the reverse way.
Okay.
The adhesive goes on there as it happens, and we're metering the adhesive. So we control how thick or how thin the actual glue is applied to it. So this is the only Dorn Color, it's over here in Cleveland. I really didn't even understand like who was making this prior to coming here. And it's like many things. I think a lot of us don't realize that even though it seems like, yeah, it's a paint company, they must be making their color cards. No. It's a really hard process. If you step back and you've seen like what it takes to make one, it's really hard to think that you're just going to undertake and make a color card just because you're a paint company. And that's why there's companies, like Dorn that have perfected that system, and that's why we're able to produce, color cards. In the color lab over there is where the magic happens and the color actually gets done, and we can
all this gets formulated.
Right, where it gets formulated. So, and we'll take a look at that later. But after it comes out of there, then it shows up here. And basically, what this machine does is it takes the color. There's a what we call a bullnose blade on there, and that bullnose blade is able to meter and get down to like a few thousandths of an inch of a gap between the paper and the blade. That determines the coating thickness for us, like how thick is the coating going to be applied on there. They just pour the paint. While the web is moving, the paint is actually like kind of like spinning around, and it's being metered by this blade. And then it goes through a process over here through some ovens. So it starts to get like infrared that bakes it. Then there's like air scrubbing that scrubs the paper. Yeah, this is the coating line. This is where everything happened. Everything starts off as a roll.
And this is essentially just a form of paint, is
That
what you're
is.
saying.
So it's a solvent-based paint. You can't put latex paint on paper. It just doesn't bind. And right now what he's got here, he's got like samples. So he might have ran something through the machine, cut a piece of it out, brought it back here, and he might be checking it with the standards that you guys might have, approved and verified. And that's how he's able to say, okay, I'm gonna run it. Yeah, so very cool story about this building. Initially when it was built, and I think it was built like 1924 to somewhere around there, 1928. So afterwards, after it's been built, there was a pickling company that was within this building.
As in like what I'm thinking of as pickles, as in pickles in a jar that you eat?
I don't fully understand it, so I'm not gonna try and pretend to do. But basically, we have like a railroad system in the back of the building that's decommissioned right now. And we have 4 boilers that were used for the pickling process. And that was for a pretty long time until American Greetings took over this building up until I think it was like 1990 or maybe a little bit before that. Dorn, at some point when they were down in downtown, they saw this as an opportunity, and they came out, scoped out the place, and they saw a vision that how to build this thing. This is the heartbeat of Dorn. Without the coating line, there is no Dorn. We need to be able to produce color.
Yeah, and so, obviously there's even on a card like this, we have some print element to it, and then we have something that's done on the coating line, and so the whole purpose of that is to try to be as accurate as possible every single time. Is that correct?
That is correct. And that's something it's very difficult to replicate on print. And then on this end, we just adjust how we want to cut them, whether we want to cut them pretty standard for us to cut them this size. These are like press sheets that, we can take these, put them in our printing press and then run them. Or we just don't do that. We take them upstairs, they quarter them on those machines, and then they start cutting the smaller chips.
So how long does it take to get from point A, wet paint being poured on that side, to coming out dry on this side?
It takes about like 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how fast the line speed is.
So not very long.
No, not very long at all.
What other industries does Dorn make cards for that goes outside of the concrete? Probably way bigger industries than the concrete industry.
What I've seen is like automotive stuff being done here, different kind of paint manufacturers, even like fabrics. We've done samples for t-shirts, metal roofing. We've done that. Just like at Home Depot when you're getting paint and they put that bucket under there and it dispenses. Well, this is on an industrial scale. And that's all it basically does. We have like raw paint that's in the back, and a formula might call for a little yellow, a little green, a little white, a little whatever it might be. This dispenses in buckets or even drums if needed, and then that's called batching, meaning like the color's kind of there, 90%, 95%, somewhere around there. After that, it goes into color matching. That's when, once again, the human eye starts to like judge it and interpret it and start looking in different light sources. And that's when they're able to say, this needs just a little more white in here. And then they mix it. They take they take a little sample of it, and then they do what we call a drawdown, which is replicating what the front of that machine is doing. So you have like stations around, and that's what they'll have like 4 colors out, and they'll work on them. They have special dryers in there that replicate what the coating line does. Because even actually like drying it faster or slower can change the sheen of the color. If you were to look under like a microscope when you're looking at the color, and if let's say you were looking at like this edge right here, you can see peaks and valleys. And if we flash it really quickly and we dry it off, those peaks and valleys don't rise as much, which creates like almost like less shadow, which is more glossy.
Okay.
If we slowly evaporate the solvents out of the paint, then you start seeing more peaks and valleys, and those peaks and valleys create shadows. That's what kind of gives it more of a matte look to it a little bit.
So kind of like our concrete color cards have more of a matte look compared to this one we're holding right now. So you're saying that that's the same paint, same everything. This is just a matter of drying process. That
Right.
This one is glossier than our integral color chart.
Absolutely, and it's they might do a little bit something different with like the bases that they put in, but if you can manipulate these colors just with how fast or how slow you're drying them. So this is printing over here. Now these machines, these machines are pretty standard. Heidelberg printing presses. That's like the gold standard of printing presses out there. And what we have is basically we have like a 2-color, and then we have a 6-color, and then we have like something that's really crazy unique over there.
Okay.
I imagine these as like being in automatic mode in a car, and over there you're in manual mode.
Okay.
Super precision control, the way you can apply color on top of each other and create these like special effects. That's what makes it so interesting and difficult too to run. There's not many people in the world that really even understand. We're lucky to really have like someone like Bobby that took it upon himself many decades ago to like learn this process and be able to do this. But this is how we were able to do like textures, like from nothing. Like you start from like a flat piece of paper, and then you build up into this like specialized like textures that can replicate just about anything.
So basically, this is where everything starts for a card like this. Down in the print room,
Yep.
everything gets printed on it,
Right.
and then eventually it makes its way up to the 3rd floor after everything's happened in the meantime to create these little guys. 3rd floor, glue them on,
Yep.
finished product. Well, there we go, guys. Man, that was so much fun. I learned so much in there. That was such a cool process. I'll be honest, when they started talking about this came about kind of quick. We started talking about this last week, and I was so excited to see these things getting glued on and how everything works. And man, I am not disappointed at all. In fact, I am overwhelmed with everything that happened in there. And thanks again to Dorn Color for inviting us up to this tour, showing us around. That was so much fun. And yeah, of course, we got our color chart. We came all the way up here just to get our hands on one of these so we can have one to show to you guys before everybody else sees them. So thanks for you guys for tuning in to Adventures in Concrete this week. We can't wait to bring you guys more of these episodes as the year goes on. And of course, from all of us here at Deco-Crete TV, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.